Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Isafita Alifa. So in this video, I would like to summary one chapter in the books, and the title is An Introduction to Second Language Research Method by Dale T Griffe, and I choose the chapter 3 with the topic is Survey Research Design or SRD. What is the SRD? Let's get started. First of all, I want to talk about what is SRD. SRD is a research method that collects information from a group of people using questionnaires, interview, or observation. It is widely used in social, educational, and psychological research to understand people's opinions, attitude, or habits. Surveys themselves date back to ancient times, especially for census and taxes. However, over time it has evolved into an important tool in a modern research. For example, George Gallup founded the famous Survey Institute in 1935, which is still influential in the world of public opinion research today. SRD works by taking a sample or small portion of the population. The sample is analyzed using a statistic to see if the results are representative or the larger population. However, SRD cannot show cause and effect relationship, but only looks for patterns or relationship in the data. As for the stage in survey, in conducting a survey, there are several main steps that must be taken. The first is planning, like determine the purpose of the survey and the method to be used. The second is sample selection, like selecting who will be the respondents. Third is instrument creation, like develop questionnaire, questions, or interview guide. Fourth, data collection, like conducting the survey by distributing questionnaire or conducting interview. 5. Data analysis, like processing data using a statistical method to look for patterns or trends. 6. Reporting a result, like compile a report and draw a conclusion based on the survey result. Next, in order for a survey to produce accurate data, there are 3 important things that must be considered. The first is construct. Construct is the main topic being researched. This concept must be clear so that it can be measured properly. It is usually explained in the literature review. Second is population. Population is the group of people who are the focus of the research. For example, in educational research, the population could be teacher or student. The third is sample. Sample is a small subset of the population selected for the research. The sample must be representative of the population so that the result of the study can be generalized. Example for SRD usage, like a linguistic lecturer named Greta wants to know how teacher apply the student-centered learning method, such as group work compared to the lecture method. She conducted a survey with questionnaires to find out teachers' opinions, observation to see a classroom practice, and interview with a teacher in her department. Next is what is survey design good at and what is SRD not good at. So SRD has several advantages. First, it collect large amounts of data quickly. Second is can be used for program evaluation or curriculum development. And then a survey result can be statistically analyzed for scale research. And SRD also has some disadvantage. First is cannot determine cause and effect relationship, and then like a detailed explanation, and the last is not flexible, so it is difficult to change question if new insights are gained. Type of sampling in research design, 2 main types of sampling. First is non-probability sampling, chosen by the researcher. So first is using groups that are easy to find, such as students in a class. Second is purposeful sampling, like selecting respondents who are considered most relevant, and then snowball. The third is snowball sampling, like essential respondent recommended other respondent. And then quota sampling, like selecting samples based on certain characteristics, for example, 60% male or 40% female. The second type is probability sampling, randomly selected, or simple random sampling. All members of the population have equal chance of being selected. And then systematic random sampling, like selecting every person in the list. And then stratified sampling, like the population is divided into specific groups, then a sample is randomly selected. And then cluster sampling, like selecting samples based on large groups, such as randomly selecting schools rather than individual students. Next, determining sample size in survey. The sample size must be large enough for the result to be generalized to the population. If it is too small, the results are not accurate. There are common situations in determining sample size. The first is sample of one class, or 5 until 60 people, like using conveniency sampling, talking all students in the class. Next, the results are not generalizable but can be used for preliminary student studies. The second is sample from a language program, or 60 until 100 people, like 50% of the population is enough to describe the program. And then if the study is for program evaluation, the result can be generalized to the program. The third is sample from large population, like 100 until 1000 people. Like for a population of 100,000, the sample required error margin. And then, as responses in the survey is often low, it is recommended that the sample size is larger than the minimum. Before I close my video, I want to give a conclusion. First is SRD cannot show cause and effect relationship. SRD only sees patterns in the data but cannot confirm that one thing causes another. The second is SRD looks for relationships between samples and population. It seeks to understand how the sample represent larger groups. The third is SRD uses statistics to analyze data. Survey results are processed using statistical method to find patterns or trends. And last is the SRD is unique in it is used, but no other research method use statistics in the same way. However, the statistics alone are not enough to prove a cause and effect relationship. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for listening. Sorry for my mistake. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.